Let's see how it has answered. So, like now it is answering the question of granuloma. So, let's see how it is answering. Fate of tuberculous granuloma: resolution, calcification, fibrosis, cavitation, spread. Clinical correlation points the about the case-sheeting granulomas are diagnostic for the TB in histopathology. Leprosy shows granuloma in tuberculoid type. TGF beta interleukin 10 regulate fibrosis in granuloma. Leishmaniasis shows granuloma with A mastigote. Extra H points are there. Interleukin 12 promote T helper 1 to differentiate into granuloma formation. It has given mnemonics, types of granulomas, caseating, non-caseating, foreign body, silica, sutures, non-caseating sarcoidosis. तो फिलहाल हम लोग ये पढ़ते हैं, ठीक है। सो लेट्स टॉक अबाउट ग्रैनुलोमा। तो ग्रैनुलोमा क्या चीज़ होती है? तो इटियोपैथोजेनेसिस ऑफ ग्रैनुलोमा। तो जो ग्रैनुलोमा है एक्चुअली फेट ऑफ ग्रैनुलोमा, ये पूरा देखिए, इससे पहले वाला पढ़ते हैं पहले, ठीक है। सो इट इज गिविंग द डेफिनेशन ऑफ इन्फ्लेमेशन। Definition of inflammation. Definition is a protective response to eliminate the initial cause of cell injury, remove necrotic cells and tissues, initiate tissue repair. It involves vascular, cellular, and chemical mediator mechanisms. So the question was from the PDF itself. Define inflammation and classify it. Vascular and cellular changes in acute inflammation. Chemical mediators, phagocytosis, chemotaxis, and chemoattractants. So definition of inflammation, it is inflammation is a protective response. ये protect करता है आपकी body को to eliminate the initial cause of cell injury, remove necrotic cells and tissues, initiate tissue repair. It involves vascular, cellular, chemical mediator mechanisms. ठीक है, तो इन्फ्लेमेशन क्या चीज़ है? इट इज़ अ प्रोटेक्टिव रेस्पॉन्स टू एलिमिनेट द initial cause of cell injury, remove necrotic cells and tissues, initiate tissue repair. It involves vascular, cellular and chemical mediator mechanisms. कितना ब्यूटीफुल डेफिनेशन है, देखो। Inflammation is a protective response to eliminate the initial cause of cell injury, remove necrotic cells and tissues, and initiate tissue repair. Involves vascular, cellular, and that is chemical mediator response. Now classification. Based on duration, you can classify acute, which is rapid onset, short duration, hours to days. Chronic, prolonged duration associated with fibrosis and angiogenesis. Based on morphology, Serous inflammation, accumulation of clear fluid. Based on morphology, how can you divide inflammation? Serous inflammation, like accumulation of clear fluid. Example, pleuritis. Fibrinous inflammation, deposition of fibrin. Example, pericarditis. In pericarditis, here deposition of fibrin. Here you can see bread and butter appearance. Bread and butter appearance. Suppurative, that is purulent inflammation, pus formation. Example, abscess, ulcerative inflammation, necrosis on epithelial cells. So this is inflammation. Let's talk about the definition we have talked about, right? Types is based on duration: acute, which is short duration, hours to days; rapid onset, chronic, prolonged duration associated with fibrosis and angiogenesis. Next, based on morphology, serous inflammation. In serous, there is a clear fluid. Example, pleuritis. Fibrinous inflammation. There is a deposition of fibrin. Pericarditis. Suppurative or purulent inflammation. Pus formation. Example, abscess. Uh, Ulcerative inflammation. Necrosis on epithelial cells. Necrosis on now vascular and cellular changes, acute inflammation. Vascular change में क्या होता है? Vasodilation mediated by histamine and prostaglandins cause redness, rubor and calor. It is mediated by histamine and prostaglandin. So it is mediated by histamine and prostaglandin. So it is mediated by histamine and prostaglandin. It causes rubor and heat. Because of vasodilation, 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 it causes rubor and heat. So histamine and prostaglandins are involved in vasodilation. Vasodilation. So, vasodilation mediated by histamine and prostaglandin, redness, rubor, and heat. Redness, rubor, and heat. Redness, rubor, and heat. Okay, increased vascular permeability, histamine, bradykinin, endothelial cell contraction, to leakage of plasma proteins and edema. Histamine and bradykinin है यहाँ पे bradykinin permeability increase कर देता है. It causes endothelial cell contraction leading to leakage of bradykinin causes contraction leading to leakage of plasma proteins and edema होता. Stasis and margination. Slowing of blood flow facilitates leukocyte adhesion to the endothelium. Slowing of blood flow facilitates leukocyte adhesion to the endothelium. Uh, cellular changes. Slowing of blood flow facilitates leukocyte adhesion to the endothelium. Cellular changes, leukocyte recruitment, margination. Leukocyte move to the endothelial. यहाँ पे स्टेसिस वेसोडाइलेशन होता है, परमेबिलिटी इंक्रीज होती है, एंड स्टेसिस एंड मार्जिनेशन. सेलर इवेंट्स. इतनी जल्दी सो भी गई. को भी लालच आ रही. सेलर चेंजेस. ल्यूकोसाइट रिक्रूटमेंट कैसे होता है? मार्जिनेशन. ल्यूकोसाइट्स मूव टू द ल्यूकोसाइट्स जो डब्ल्यूबीसी है वो एंडोथीलियम जैसे सब बीच में फ्लोट कर रहे होते तो ट्रैवल कर रहे होते तो ये साइड आ जाते हैं. फिर उसके बाद इसके ऊपर रोल करते हैं. दिस रोलिंग इज मीडिएटेड बाय सेलेक्टिन, ई सेलेक्टिन एंड पी सेलेक्टिन. फिर एडिशन होता है, मतलब उसको जुड़ जाते हैं. कैसे? मीडिएटेड बाय इंटीग्रिन्स बाइंडिंग टू आई कैम 1 एंड वी कैम 1. आई कैम और वी कैम की मदद से. ट्रांसमाइग्रेशन. Transmigration. Diapedesis. Leukocytes migrate through interendothelial spaces. So leukocytes कैसे migrate करते हैं? Through interendothelial spaces. So ICAM1 and VCAM1. So leukocytes migrate through interendothelial spaces. तो leukocytes कैसे migrate करते हैं? Interendothelial spaces. That is diapedesis. Addition ICAM and VCAM1 and E-selectin P-selectin rolling के लिए and selectins for rolling. Phagocytosis IgG and C3b via opsonins. Recognition of pathogen via opsonin. Engulfment of pathogen. Formation of phagosome. Oxidative burst. Release of reactive oxygen species to destroy microbes. Chemical mediators of inflammation. Vasoactive amine, histamine, increase vascular permeability, serotonin, vasoconstrictor, plasma protein, complement system, C3a, C5a, anaphylatoxin, and C5b9 MAC complex. C5b6, 7, 8, 9. Okay, MAC complex. Coagulation pathway generates fibrin and thrombin. Plasma proteins generate fibrin and thrombin. These are coagulation pathway. Cytokines interleukin 1 and TNF induce fever and adhesion molecules expression. Interleukin 8 chemotactic for neutrophils. Chemotactic for neutrophils. Chemotactic for neutrophils is interleukin 8. Interleukin 1 and interleukin and TNF induce fever and adhesion molecule expression. Interleukin 1 and TNF fever and molecule adhesion. Addition molecule expression. Interleukin 8 chemotactic for neutrophils. Icosanoids, prostaglandins, vasodilation, fever, leukotrienes, bronchoconstriction, chemotoxis. ROS kill microbes and amplify anti-inflammatory response. Phagocytosis, chemotaxis and chemoattractants. Phagocytosis, recognition and opsonization. Microbes are tagged with opsonins, example IgG and complement proteins. Engulfment, phagolysosome, ROS, chemotaxis, direct movement of leukocyte towards the site of injury along a chemical gradient. Chemoattractants, bacterial products and formal peptides, endogenous complement fragments, C5a leukotriene B4, and cytokines IL-8, the leukin 8. Clinical features. This is important, okay? Again, characterized by neutrophilic infiltration, chronic lymphocytes and macrophages. TNF and interleukin 1 mediate the systemic acute phase response, that is fever. Interleukin 1 is fever. E selectin deficiency causes leukocyte adhesion deficiency. Leukocyte rolling defects occur in Sally Lewis X mutation. Defective phagocytosis in celiac Higashi syndrome leads to recurrent infections. celiac Higashi syndrome phagocytosis खा नहीं पाता है phagocytosis chronic granulomatous disease result from defective NADPH oxidase है तो chronic granulomatous disease होता है. Defective NADPH oxidase complement deficiency C3 disposed to infections. C3A and C5A cause anaphylatoxins, cause mast cell degranulation. Histamine increases vascular permeability in allergic reactions. Interleukin 6 is a marker of systemic inflammation. Platelet active factor is a potent vasodilator. Nitric oxide releases smooth muscles, relaxes smooth muscles and reduces inflammation. Platelet activation can also cause vasodilation. Tuberculosis elicits a granulomatous response. Also involve both acute and chronic inflammation. Chronic inflammation. So RA is chronic inflammation, rheumatoid arthritis. COX inhibitors NSAIDs reduce prostaglandin mediated inflammation. COX inhibitors NSAIDs reduce prostaglandin mediated inflammation. Glucocorticoids inhibit phospholipase A2 reducing icosanoid synthesis. Glucocorticoids inhibit phospholipase A2 reducing icosanoid synthesis. Glucocorticoids inhibits phospholipase A2. Glucocorticoids inhibit phospholipase A2 reducing icosanoid synthesis. So reactive oxygen species chronic inflammation damage to tissues. Fibrosis means TGF beta. I'll talk about later, okay? Thank you.